So I want to show you how to like look for components. So you're designing some system and you've got a motor in there, you've got a switch, maybe a couple switches, you're going to have to use a relay, some other components, and you're like, well, okay, I've drawn everything. I know what it looks like, but how do I actually go get the parts? How do I choose the part? Could be that, you could just go to an electronics store and just grab one off the shelf and stick it in, but it may not be able to, say, handle the current. It may not actually be able to switch quick enough. Sometimes that's an issue. There could be a lot of other things where you're like, oh, right, I didn't actually look into the parameters, especially when you get into other components like transistors and other kinds of integrated circuits and such, or certainly with capacitors and inductors, whatever they are. You guys know about those to some degree. When you select those things, I mean, it's a big deal. You have to make sure you get the exact right one. Certainly batteries. I mean, you guys know all about that. You know that you have to select a particular battery with a certain milliamp hours or an amp hours or whatever, and you can also choose like the voltage and stuff. So there are attributes to parts that you have to consider when you buy them. So you can't just go grab any battery and stick it in, and you can't just go grab any selector switch and stick it in, and you can't just grab any single pole, single throw switch and stick it in. Okay, bear with me, I'm going somewhere, I'm doing something, hold on, dip switches, whatever, I got all these little tiny switches, wait, I got another bigger switch, I'm coming back, here I am, I'm coming back. Hello, it's me. Okay, good. So now wait a second, let's take a look at this switch. Okay, so this is, it's a pretty formidable switch. I can look at the contacts here and I can see the size of them. Those are kind of pretty small. They're not like huge or anything. I've got other switches here that I can grab onto. Now let's take a look at some of these other switches. So if I take a look at some of these switches, now this is my electrical box for like cars, right? So, I mean, I've had so many old cars and stuff. I'm always rebuilding stuff and always redesigning stuff for vehicles and stuff. So I've got these switches, and oh, that's a good one. Dude, that's a selector switch for a car. Okay, so it can handle, actually for the fan, this is actually the selector switch that you need to use for your project. Although this is for a selector switch for the speeds of a fan in a car, and it's pretty old. It's an old chrome kind of thing. It's probably out of a car from the 60s. Anyway, and then we've got the relays and stuff. Here's a good switch. I love this switch. This is a good one. Take a look at this one. It's a big toggle switch. It's pretty cool, right? So look at the leads on that. Those are big. This thing can probably handle about 10 amps, no problem. So the contact in here is designed to handle 10 amps. Okay, good. So let me put this guy back. Did we get anything else that's really cool in here? This is a cool little toggle switch. Yeah, it's like one way or the other. Actually, I use this switch. No kidding. This is a really cool control example. I remember I was driving out west with my old 65 Dodge Polara, and I was driving through the mountains, and I was driving down this mountain road like way deep in the forest. Actually, it's really cool. And what was going on was that I was out west, and it was raining slightly. I mean, it was kind of almost like a mist in the forest. It was an awesome road that went down the forest, like under these trees and stuff. It was cool, but it was kind of like spitting rain. It was raining just slightly, and my old car, it didn't have intermittent wipers, right? So what was going on was that I'd have to lean over, these old cars, you're driving this thing, I had to lean over and turn the wipers on once and then go back, and then once and go back. So I did that for like, I don't know, like an hour. It's driving me crazy. So I pulled over at this cool spot where we just kind of stopped to rest. And what I did was, I mean, I had my traveling electrical kit with me, and I grabbed this switch. I think it was probably this switch, or I used to have a few of these, so it might have been a different one, but same kind of switch. And actually, I put this, kind of hung it under the dashboard. Later, I actually installed it under my car. And what I did was I connected this so that I could change the signal from my horn to, as opposed to going like the switch from the horn, it was actually on the steering wheel. Boop, boop, it was pretty cool. So as opposed to me hitting the horn and beeping, what I did was I wired it to my wipers. So, and I used this switch. So what I did was I just connected it in like this. And if I switched it to here and I honked the horn came on. But if I switched it over and I guess I pressed the horn button, the wiper would go once, which was great because I had like another hour of driving down this cool road way down the mountain, right? So just a really cool kind of example about how we may use kind of a single pole double throw switch to throw the signal that comes from the horn to either the actual horn or over to the actual wiper. And it was pretty easy to do because I had an old 60s car, right? So I just took like a little clamp and I clamped it onto the wire that kind of went to the wiper and it worked. So the good old days when you could do that kind of stuff. But let's take a look at these contacts. Again, we're talking about the attributes of these things. So we know it's a single pole double throw switch, but you see these are pretty big, right? So that means you can put a lot of current through there. I mean, the signal coming from my horn wasn't, a lot of current. Actually, the current going into the wipers might have been, a few amps, and that's fine. This thing can handle a few amps, no problem. But let's take a look at this guy. So I have this little single pole, single throw. I got a normally open push button, okay? So these contacts are pretty small. I might put an amp through this. I wouldn't want to put more than an amp through that. I wouldn't mess around with that. I mean, I don't know what the specifications for this are. I'm looking for a product code. I can't see one. So I would just roll with I wouldn't go over an amp. Now, if I go even smaller, like these little guys, this little tiny thing is like kind of to be soldered onto a circuit board. And I wouldn't put more than a quarter amp through this thing. So you see, it's a matter of, and sorry, this is my original one that I pulled out. Again, the leads are pretty small, so you can kind of get a sense of how much current can go through a switch, depending on like kind of how formidable it is. Like this thing is pretty tough, right? Like it's a tough, you can really feel it. It's like a mechanical thing. So I'm going to put like maybe 10 amps through that. But again, I'd probably want to look at the specifications. Ooh, there's a code on here. Ooh, I might be able to Google that and look it up. Okay, good. So with that said and done, we have an understanding that the different components that you put into any kind of circuit, you've got to actually go and find out what they are. Certainly motors and stuff too. You really have to source that stuff. So how do you do that? How do you select these things? Well, you can go to your local electronics store and just, walk around and look at all of the different components. And when you pull them off the shelf and look at it, you're like, oh, there's a switch. There's a normally open push button. I'm going to go over and check out that switch. You pull it off and it'll be in a package and it'll tell you. It'll tell you how much current you can put through it. It'll also tell you how much voltage you can put through it as well. And the voltage has to do with kind of like the arcing that's going on. It can be designed for up to 125 volts. After that, after you get into a higher voltage than that, you kind of need special housing and stuff for a switch. But we're dealing with low voltage. So that's one thing you can do. You can go into an electronics store and just poke around and take a look, right? The other thing is that you can just, order them online, and you can kind of pre-study them online and then go into the electronics store and just look for the code you want, and or walk up to the counter and say, hey, I'm looking for this particular switch. So let's just jump into, I'll show you my screen, and we'll just jump into some electronic stores and we'll poke around and see what kind of components we can select. Also, be a pretty cool experience to kind of go in and look at the fuses, so you can get a sense of kind of what a fuse is, not like, a size of a fuse. By the way, some of you guys in your assignment for stage 2 were putting like, you were calculating 1.7 amps, and then you put a 1.7 amp fuse in there. Okay, well you go and show me where you can put a 1.7 amp fuse, and I'll be happy. But it's going to be hard to find, although it's really uncommon. We actually can look through DigiKey and find one. What's DigiKey? Okay, let's find out. Actually, let's go to the motor control assignment, and we'll hit the link there for DigiKey. Okay, wait a sec. Wait for it. Here we go. Boom. All right, here we go. Where did it go? Where did it go? Where did it go? There we go. DigiKey. So you can Google like electronic supply store. There's Sale Electronics. There's DigiKey Electronics. There's like all kinds of electronic store. You can actually just Google electronic supplies Toronto, let's just say. DigiKey is national. It's probably international. I'm not sure. I know it's in the States and Canada. So what I'm going to, let's do fuse. Let me just type in fuse. Okay, here we go. So fuse, okay, circuit protection fuses, fuse kits. Oh, look at that. Kits for fuses. Now, this may be something that you can kind of start with. You can say, okay, so what's this going on here? $240. Well, that's pretty expensive. Maybe, 0.1, 0.8 to 10 amps. So I'm wondering, like, you know, is there a list of the fuses in here? Maybe not. Okay, I'm just going to go back, and then it's just poke around. So fuses, wait, fuses, 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 fuse. So just type in, oh, my fingers. Okay, so just type in the word fuse, and then we can look at this. So there's fuse holders and special fuses, and then I'm just going to go to fuses. Just go to fuses. Now, oh, look at that. These are called barrel fuses. I mean, we don't see them as much anymore. I still have a whole bunch of these because I have old cars. My old 77 Lincoln uses these. That's kind of a cool fuse. So let's take a look at this. So, okay, these are all, that's like this is a surface mount fuse, which is pretty cool, pretty rare. So now let's actually go over here and say, oh, dude, there's a filter here. Okay. So I can actually filter fuse type. Okay, I can go to cartridge. These are a little bit more common. You know, let's go to automotive fuses as well. I'm going to go to apply all. And then there'll be some images here. Now, it could be, not all of them have images. I'm just going to jump over to, say, number 5. I mean, the 5th page. Let's go off of automotive. Fuse type, I'm going to close that. And then I'm going to go to the cartridge fuse. Now, cartridge board mount. Okay, cartridge fuses. I'm not finding the fuses that I'm used to seeing. These are cool. These are actually for circuits, right? The fuses I'm used to seeing are probably the fuses that you guys know about, that are these fuses here for automotive, right? This is pretty heavy. It's got a lot of stuff on it. So let me just show you a couple different fuses. Okay, here's one type of fuse. There's another kind of fuse. More modern cars have these fuses, and then older cars have these fuses, right? So let's go over here. So that's really too small. Just bear with me here. Hold on. Okay, that's called a barrel fuse. Now that, oh no, you don't see what's, you don't see me. Wait. Okay, here we go. This is a barrel fuse. Okay, we were looking at those. These fuses you'll find in cars. Right? These fuses you'll find in cars. I was kind of looking for those on DigiKey, but I don't think they actually sell them on DigiKey. You have to actually go to Canadian Tire or an automotive place that sells those. So those are fuses. But, I mean, what I wanted to do was I wanted to show you the different sizes of fuses. So rating, here we go. So current rating, mounting. Let's actually just take a look at the current rating. So if I go for here, so actually let's just do all fuses. Let's clear this guy. And so it'll be all, oh, look at this. Current rating. Here we go. So I have all of these are milliamps. Like, that's super small. Look at that. Okay, so there's 75, 300, 310, 350. Whoa, like 2.7, 2.75, 1.6. So you know what? These fuses do exist. Actually, look, there is no 1.7 amp fuse, like I said in the beginning. So, but I mean, the more common fuses are the 2 amp fuse and the 1.5 amp fuse, and kind of from there they go to you know, a 3, 4, 5, and then generally they do go to, like, you'll see like a 5 amp and then an 8 amp. This is kind of off the shelf, and then a 10 amp. And then from there they go to 15 amp and then 20 amp, 25 amp. But you can get all the in-betweens. So when you're selecting fuses, you can look at this, and you might even actually indicate, if I just look through here, you can actually go get a part number for this particular fuse. So apply the filters, 1.5 amp, whatever. You can get a part number for this, and you can indicate that this is the best one to get. And you can say, you know, whatever, that the manufacturer's part number. So I'll talk about the manufacturer's part number in a second. I'm going to put selector switch. Okay. So selector switches. Here we go. So this is a cool select. These are kind of micro selector switches, pretty small, but this is a larger type selector switch. Okay. So now what I want to do is, I know my current. Okay. This is my circuit, single pole. Oh, I got all these different poles. Okay. So double pole, triple throw, so double pole, 4 throw, right? Single pole, 4 throw. I'm going to apply all there. Now, the other thing is that you've got to think about the current handling rate for this. Let's go back to this. That's actually a nice switch. That would kind of look really cool on your conveyor belt. So, current rating. Oh, let's take a look at the current. Look at all these other ratings. There's a lot of stuff. Oh, wow. Some of them have these little cool illuminating lights on them, which is pretty cool. I got some of those in my automotive kit. And, yeah, I've got some other in my electronics and stuff. So voltage rating, whatever. This doesn't matter so much. You don't even choose this. Most of them will be okay because we're dealing with 12 volts. Voltage rating AC and DC, right? So we're doing DC, so 12 volts. You don't even, because if you actually, get this. If you select one of these that can handle like 125 volts, it's okay. You can still use it for your application. So we've already selected the type of switch. Now I'm going to go for current. Now, how much current is your system drawing? Well, maybe 5, 6, 7 amps, whatever. It depends. So this is AC DC. So now, you know what? If I were to select 10 currents AC, it doesn't really matter if I found one that said 10 currents AC or DC. You can see this as 10 currents AC and 8 currents DC. So we can see that what's going on is that the DC current is a little underrated. That's because it's consistent. The AC current pulses up and down and up and down. So at some times the current is 0, right? So anyway, I'm just going to go for maybe this one and this one, because let's say that my system uses 8 amps, or maybe even here and here and here and here. Let's just say your system uses 5 amps. 5 amps DC. So where's the DC? There's 3 amps DC. I don't want to do this one. 5 amps AC DC. Good. So anywhere above that, you can even put a 10 amp one in. Now, if after you go past here, you're paying more for this. So you don't want to jump too high on this. And, because you're essentially what you're doing is if you are going to buy this stuff, either you're paying for it or your boss is paying for it. So that's what's going on. And then you can apply the filters. Where's the thing that says apply filters? I don't select clear. I don't know. Maybe it, does this change anything? Clear selections. Oh, apply all. Okay, wait a second. Let me just do this. I guess it automatically applies it. That's kind of weird. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to go to my current circuit, function, rating, mounting type, voltage rating, current rating. Here we go. So you can click on this, and it'll either start from the top. That's 5 amps. Okay, cool. And then from here, it'll show me the highest rating. So that was the 10 amps. So I'm just going to go to the 5 amps. Let's just say my circuit needed at least 5 amps. So there you go. You can choose one of these. This one looks pretty cool. I mean, it doesn't have kind of the backing on it that we saw originally. And then, how come there are no pictures? Well, you know what? You can go in the data sheet and it will show you. So where's the data sheet and how do you find it? Actually, you just select the actual switch here. You can see there's something called data sheet there. Now, this is a rotary thing. So you're going to turn this one way or the other. I kind of don't like that one. I want something more tactile for my user to use the conveyor. Okay, good. Here we go. So here we go. This is the sheet. This is the switch itself, and then you can actually download the data sheet. Right? Here we go. Oops, something went wrong. You tried to search. I don't know what that was all about. I don't know why that happened. I'm going to go back here, and then the data sheet is also available right here. So I can let me just see what's going on. Something funky went on. So you know what? I don't want this switch. If they're not showing me the data sheet, I don't want it. Here we go. Here's the data sheet here. Oh, look at these. Oh, you can get one with a key. That's cool. All right. So now you can go through and select the switch you want. Oh, look, they got lots and lots of switches. Now the problem is, the thing that's going on actually, is that this data sheet has this one switch on it, but it's also got all of the other switches that are made by this company, okay? So, or at least it's got a whole bunch of switches that you want here. So what you can do is, you can do this. You can find out this guy. So I was looking at this guy here, and I'm just going to copy this, and then I'm going to go to my data sheet, whoops-a-daisy, and I'm going to say Control F, and I'm going to search for that, and it'll show up. Now, it's not showing up, and that's fine because I'm going to go to this. I'm going to go down. Uh-oh. You know what? That is the DigiKey part number. Let's go back to here. So that's the DigiKey part number. I want the manufacturer's part. Okay, so the manufacturer's part number is this. I don't know why it doesn't show up because I did use the same one. Doesn't show any of them. I'm just going to go for like this and see what happens. 52. What is the 52? See, now this happens. You know, sometimes it's getting a little funky. So I'm just going to search for this. Now, it's 0. It doesn't show me any of them. Okay, now the other thing is I can just go down until I find a selector switch. So I'm going to go up to here, and I'm going to say, okay, good. So function, push button, eliminate selector switches. Okay, cool. So I'm going to go, it's about in the middle. It's too bad it doesn't show a page number here. And then this is the voltage they can handle. All right, I'm going to go down, and I'm just going to scroll until I find a selector switch. There we go. Is that a selector switch? Okay, cool. So that's switched 2 positions. All right, I'm going to keep going until I find one that is 3 positions. Okay, good. So I'm going to keep going. Selector switch. Key lock, 2 positions. Flush design. Okay, here we go. Another 2 positions. So I want way more than 2 positions. I'm going to go down to here. Here we go. That's 3 positions. So, oh, you know what? I might have chosen one without 2 positions. I'm going to go back to here. I mean, I might have chosen one because I was doing this one. It may actually only have 2 positions. Number of positions, 2. Okay. So I've kind of been wasting my time a little bit, but dude, that's just what it's all about. Like, you know, I wasn't being efficient in my search, but you can look at this. You can go up here and you can say positions. So I'm going to go over here. Oh, the number of positions. Oh, look at that. I want to go down to 4. So I'm going to go up to here, and then that's the, and then it'll go to the highest number. I went to the lowest number first, and then the highest number. So I want 4 positions. Okay, so I'm going to go for, like, I don't know, page 3. There's a lot of switches in here, dude. Okay. Page 3 doesn't show me. I'm going to go for page 2. So 6 positions. That's pretty cool. I'm going to go to page 1 and see what happens. Oh, because I started with page 1. Sorry. I'm going to go to page 4. Now I probably get into the 4 position here. 4. Here we go. So now, you know what? I might as well just make this positions, number of positions, 4. Okay. Apply all. Right. That's what I was kind of looking for. Here we go. So now I'm not fooling around with trying to figure out what to do. And now look at this guy. So that guy, that's the one I like. It's really nice. Look at that. It gives me all the positions here. So let's just take a look at this guy. Let's see if we can get the data sheet out of this guy. Okay. It came down here. I've downloaded it. Let's go to the data sheet. Now, what you want to do is, now it's so weird that this is the data sheet. Some data sheets are much more extensive than this. So, you know what? In this case, because this data sheet sucks, which is really weird. I mean, let me just do that again and take a look. Okay, I don't know what's going on there. That's really weird. So, you know, the other thing is you can do this. Who manufactures this? Okay, Phoenix Contact. Okay, whatever. I can just go in here and I can search that. And then, you know, one of the things I like to do is images, but I'm going to, this is DigiKey. It's already here. I don't want to look at that. So this is actually Phoenix's website. Okay, here we go. So create product view. So there isn't, add to parts shopping. Generate product PDF. Yeah, I accept whatever. Generate PDF. Let's just see. You know what? It's going to be the same PDF that's on, yeah, it's on DigiKey. So what do I do now? Well, this particular sheet has got more information than the data sheet does. So I'm actually just going to do a screenshot of that. And I'm going to do this. You know what else is cool? Because, you know what, I can do this. I'm going to actually go, I'm going to open up, you know, me in Paint. Wait, just stop that. Oh, you bad thing. Okay, good. Here we go. So I'm going to just do this. Now I got this in here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a picture of the product because I think it's pretty cool. I want to have it. I want to have my, the designers know what it looks like. You know, it's not all about having the official data sheet or whatever. And, you know, like, I don't know, is this official? You know what, dude, you have to empower your reader to know what the components look like. So essentially, the readers of your work are going to be building this thing. So you want to make it so that they can't look at that. That's kind of nice. You can stick it right in there. You want to make it so that the readers, whoever's reading your report, can actually build this properly. There you go. So I'm going to stick that into my my report category. Now, does it say manufacturer? Okay, that's a problem because if they're going to order this thing, oh wait, standard. Okay, manufacturer Phoenix. Yep. Series. Yep. Bulk. It doesn't say. Where's the product number? Making. Oh, look at that. The product number's not here. So I'm thinking of my reader. I'm thinking of the guy who's going to build this thing. And you know what? I'm going to take this guy and I'm going to put this information here. I'm going to put this information in here as well. Okay. So, excuse me. I'm just going to, whoops daisy, select all, and I'm going to drag it down here. Because I want my designers to be able to just go and buy this thing and use it. Okay, so I'm going to get whatever, select all. Here we go. So yeah, I want the guys who are, I'm asking to build this thing. I want to give them everything they need to be able to actually build the conveyor that you're building. So there you go. So there's the switch you're going to use. You can do all of this right in Word. You can do everything I just did right in Word. You can do screenshots and just paste them into Word. There you go. So there's the data sheet for this. So if you want, you know what, you can use that same one, but I suggest you, you know, you be a little bit more industrious, you know, and you go and find your own switch. Although that's a really cool switch, dude. Here's another really cool one. It's a different one, right? And so, you know, you're going to decide whether you want this one or not. Let's take a look at the price of this one. By the way, the other thing is that maybe these things aren't in stock, which is actually kind of important as well. So here's the price, and it's obsolete. You can't use it. So this is obsolete as well. Oh, so you can't use that one. It's obsolete. So you got to find one that it's not. So you can click on here and go in there. So that's for the switches. Let's go back to the actual the design of the let me just go in here. Sorry, I don't know where I left it, but I'm just gonna jump in here. Wait a second, week 3. So assignment 3. So it's important that you just kind of stick with me here. Don't go anywhere. So as far as the motors go, you can select your motor. Now go for something that's where I'm assuming you're going with 40 watts, but you know, if you wanted to select a motor that had a different wattage, that's okay. You can work with that, and you can do that. Now batteries, well, let's take a look at the batteries. On off, on off control, emergency stop. Ooh, okay, reverse control. Okay, reverse control, that's your business. You're going to design that. So if you use relays for that, that's fine. But if you're going to use a single pole, double throw, or a triple throw switch with kind of like a center zero, you're going to look for that as well. So let's go there. Let's actually do a double pole. What was it? Double pole, triple throw. You can also go for double throw, and then you can have like kind of an off center. Wait a second. Double pole, double throw, switch. Okay, cool. Toggle switches, sweet. So you may want to do a rocker switch. You may want to do whatever you want. So let's take a look at this. Okay, so my current rating. This is a series. Again, you've got to go over to your current rating. I know that I'm going to be running 5 amps through mine. So operating temperature, panel, see actuator type, voltage DC, current rating. Okay, here we go. So amps, I want a 5 amp. So again, just not to limit everything, I'm going to go for like, you know, a few more of these. Okay, so whatever, I'll go up to 7 amps, maybe 10 amps, that's fine. So what we're going to do is we're looking for, if you're going to do reverse control with a double pull, double throw, you want a center off, okay? So you want a center off, on, off, there you go, on, off, on, there you go, you want this one, okay? So, yep, there you go. That's the one you want. So you want it on, off, on. You can also get a triple throw and just not use the center pole. But what this means is in the middle, it's just 0. So, double pull, double throw, you want a double pull, double throw. You don't want a single pull, triple throw. There you go. Apply all. Now, let's just go back up to these filters to see if there's anything else. I've rated done my current rating. Actuator length, some physical attributes. Hey, there's a color, and then there's a voltage. You can get illuminating on that as you can weld. So if you want, you could probably, I'm not sure about these illuminating voltage. There may be a color for one way and a color for the other way. I don't know, but I would install those lights myself. So like a green light comes on if you're going forward, and then a blue light comes on if you're going reverse or whatever. Now, you may want to think about this if it's panel or whatever. Through hole, it's a tiny little switch. Probably want a panel mount, right angle and right angle. I think that's good. So this kind of, pins it down to just a few of them. Let's just see. So we got actually 746. Wow, that's a lot, right? So what's going on is that I want to think about, my operator. Well, that one's kind of nice, right? It's got like kind of a heavy kind of handle, and if you let go of that handle, it'll just jump to the middle. If you let go of that handle, it'll jump to the middle. I've got one. I was going to run over to my desk, but I won't do that. So this one's kind of nice. So you want to think about the ease of operation and whatever. You got to choose this. So I kind of like this one. Kind of like that one. Now let me just see. Actually, let me go back to see if it's available and how much it is. Okay, I like this one. No, this was the one I liked, and it's 18 bucks, and it's available. I can buy, 30 of them immediately if I wanted, so that's fine. I'm going to grab this one, and it says 125 volts, and that's fine. Whatever. I mean, like I said, I'm looking to use 12, but it's okay if it's rated for this. I really like this guy. This is kind of my favorite guy. Now let's actually see about the data sheet. Let's see what the data sheet has to say. There we go. I thought so. So this is a kind of a typical data sheet for all different kinds of codes of switches. So you can order this. So if I went to the manufacturer, I could order a specific one of these, and then they would be able to tell me, no, I would go to this data sheet and I would select a particular one and I'd say, that's what I want. Okay, so all these different numbers mean different things. So that's important. So what you want to do is you want to go to this data sheet and you want to get the one page that kind of is the one where the one you've chosen. Now, I really like it that they've got pictures here. Pictures are great because it helps you, from going through all of these different. Here you go. I'm getting closer. That's nicer. I'm getting closer to what I want here. Now, I'm really looking for the information that tells me how much current it can handle. Look, this is the code. So if you wanted to specifically order a particular exact switch that had a bushing finish on it, or it had the color finish or whatever, these are all the different finishers. And then this is the contact material, right? So gold is going to be really good. It's going to last a long time. Silver is going to last a long time. And then they've got gold, silver. Ooh, these are all really, these are high quality. It's probably, yeah, it's $18 switch. It's pretty high quality. So we got all these different terminals that you want, and you could have, depending on, the box that you're putting in. You might want a right angle terminal because your wires need to go off to the left as soon as the switch is in there, all of these different things. So you can order that specifically. So you know what? I'm just going to go to this. I'm going to say, I want this part. Again, I'm going to be doing screenshots. And I'm going to be taking this part here, right? And I'm going to put that into my shot. And then I'm going to go down here and take all of this as well, so that whoever is ordering this part can do that exactly. They can go on to DigiKey and order this exact part. Now, the other thing is that it's probably best to actually copy this and paste it into your work as well. So not only are you going to put a screenshot, but you might want to put a title on the top of the page of the name of the switch, so that whoever is building this can actually just copy this and just paste it into DigiKey, as opposed to reading this and typing it in, which they may type in the wrong value. Okay, good. So going back to the motor assignment, we've got to do, the speed control. Now that's the reverse control. So if you're going to use a single pole double throw switch for your reverse, so yes, a double pole double throw switch for your reverse control, you can do that if you chose to do that. But if you are going to use the relay control, then in DigiKey, you want to go over here, relay. Now, if you go to relays, dude, there are millions of relays. Do you want to relay? Probably, you know what? You're not using a surface mount. You're not creating, you may be creating your own circuit if you want. That's fine. You don't need a solid state relay. They switch really, really quickly. Read relays, you don't want those. As I don't know if you remember from, like, I don't know, one of the original slides, read relays are, they're quick, but you can't put a lot of current through them. So I would say an automotive relay is probably the best way to go, because you can easily put 5 amps through it, and they're good and mountable. So you can do that. So again, you're going to go down and you're going to, the coil current, you have to think about the coil current. You don't really want much coil current. You don't want to have to use a lot of current. But let's just go over here, contact rating. Again, I'm going to go for, for safety, I'm just going to go for 10 amps. 10 amps, because I know my motor draws 4 amps. Switching voltage, I don't really care about that. Whatever I draw, if it's a switch that, if it's a relay that can handle 10 amps, the switching voltage is going to be high enough, whatever. So release, mounting type maybe chassis mounting, free hanging, socketable, surface mount. No, I don't want, chassis mount. That means that I'm actually going to have a screw in it, and I'm going to actually be able to screw it. So as I put these different things in here, I'm going to choose active, so I don't end up looking at ones that I can't buy. It filters all of these out. So for the voltage, must operate voltage. I'm not sure what switching voltage, contact form, coil voltage, 12 volts. There you go. Nice. Now I'm getting somewhere. So now, look at that. I've only got one that's actually, I've dialed this down, 12 volts. If I do that and I select that, I've got only these relays. So I'm going to choose one of these relays. That is if I am going to be using a relay for my reverse control. Now, as far as batteries go, DigiKey is a good place for batteries, but you can also search batteries on lots of other places. So I'm just going to go battery. You know what? Now, if you want just like a simple lead acid battery, whatever you want, rechargeable batteries, definitely I would say that probably a good way to go if there's a battery on it. So rechargeable batteries, and then you're going to go for your type of rechargeable battery. So I don't know. I'm just going to go for like there's a lithium ion, nickel metal hydride. These are, no, I don't want, and these are all good, whatever you want. Now, you want to know over here is going to be the voltage rating. We want 12 volts for sure. Okay, easy, 12 volts for sure. Now, size, I don't care. Dimension, I don't care. It's going to be in this conveyor, and that's fine. So now, where's the amp rating? Manufacturer. You know what? I can't find the amp rating. I can't find it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear all sections. And then I'm going to go back here and I'm going to look for amp rating. Series manufacturer, battery, chemistry, cell size. Yeah, these are all the different sizes. Volt rating, capacity. There we go, milliamp hours. Now, whatever you calculate, because that thing's got to run for 3 hours or something, I forget what it is, you may calculate that you need a 2 amp hour battery or 1.7. Or you may need a 3.3, whatever. So you're going to do that. Now I'm going to go over and I'm going to apply the filters in my 12. And maybe I may not be able to pick and choose these. I'm just going to say apply. Now I'm going to go down. Uh-oh. Not sure why that happened. But again, I'm going to go voltage rating, 12 volts. Right. So I've got, when I apply these filters, milliamp rating. You know what? Maybe I'm a little stuck here. Yeah, I'm going to grab a bunch of these. So I'm going to say maybe maybe my amp hours is anywhere from, maybe I'm calculated 2.5 amp hours, but I may not find a 2.5 amp hour battery that's exactly 12 volts. I may not. So I'm going to do this, and now I'm going to go here, and I'm going to say, okay, look at all of these batteries, right? So as far as my milliamp hours go, or my amp hours go, I'm going to go and find that. Voltage rating, battery chemistry, part minimum quantity. Where did it go? Packaging parts, battery cell size, voltage, capacity. Right. Okay, good. So I'm going to go for, I'm going to do this because I know that maybe I calculated it at 2.5. There you go. So I've got one 2.5, and I'm going to take a look at it. Okay, maybe this is good. 36 bucks for, that's probably pretty good. I don't know. Let's just go for this one. And for some reason, I don't know why that didn't open up, but I'm going to open it up. And now I'm going to see about the data sheet. Now this data sheet may be a little less complicated. Did I not just download a data sheet? It did. I'm not sure where it went or why it didn't download it. Maybe it did. Anyway, I'm not going to go searching my downloads. So you can either use the data sheet or you can grab this. Again, it's all about your it's all about the people that are designing this. They want to be able to actually go and select parts. They want to build this thing to your specifications because they know you've designed it, all of the parts. You don't want them to have to do any of that work. So yeah, give them the information. And you can go to other places. You can go to Sale Electronics. It's a similar kind of interface. All electronic stores have a similar kind of interface. Although my personal favorite is DigiKey because they've got so many parts. Electrosonic is good as well. Anyway, whatever. There you go. So I don't think that I need to talk to you guys anymore. I think you understand what you've got to do. You have to actually select the parts, and you know how to select them. And any questions, let me know.